I'm Snoozle, and I play a concerning amount of video games, and I have opinions on them that I want to share with you, and that I kind of want to talk about with you. Today, Winter Burrow, yay! We're gonna get into what it is, the best way to play it, who it might be for, and whether I liked it or not. So, we're gonna start off with some stats. Got my trusty iPad here. This is the game description straight off of the Steam store page. Right there. Winter Burrow is a cozy woodland survival game about a mouse returning home to restore their childhood burrow. Explore, gather resources, craft, knit warm sweaters, bake pies, and meet the locals. It was released recently in the 12th of November 2025, and it has the cozy exploration, crafting, survival, cute, and nature tags on Steam. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go through some of my gameplay stats. I paid full price at $19.99. I beat the game in roughly 8 hours, and I played it for a total of 9.3 hours. So I played it for about an hour and a half after I beat it. I achieved full completion with 32 out of 32 Steam achievements, and as I do with most games, I played this on my Steam Deck, big deck head, and I can safely say that it feels fully Steam Deck compatible with no tinkering. I didn't have to change nothing. I hopped right in, I played, easy peasy. All that out of the way, let's get into my opinions and what I thought. Overall, this game, it was cute. I love a hand-drawn art style. I think it is just so good, and every time it's gonna feel cozy and it's gonna feel comfy, and I'm gonna like it, and this game is no exception. The adorable art style combined with good story pacing, good content, the crafting mechanics, the fighting mechanics, they all felt, just fine. I didn't really have any complaints. I think it felt good. It was intuitive, it wasn't clunky, good pacing, great game, right? Cool. Let's get into the specifics. It was a really refreshing take on the escaping capitalist society theme that we see in so many cozy games. And guess what? I love the theme. It's my favorite theme because me too. I want to do that. Let me do that, which is why I'm going to play it every single time. But this was a really unique twist. You get to play as a little mouse, you're a little guy, you're walking in your childhood footsteps, you know what I mean? And you've got your auntie, she's helping you out. I think it's a really great twist. This was such a good way for people who don't really play survival games very often to dip their toes into the survival genre. Ultimately, it was a refreshing break from a formula that we see with cozy games. It had familiar theming that felt cozy, it had an art style that feels cozy, you're literally a little mouse in the winter, curled up in your burrow, venturing out and helping other little guys. Like, it is a cozy joy. However, it's survival, it's a little bit different. So I thought this was a great twist on a genre that we see using similar thematics. Good twist. Refreshing. That being said, while I play a ton of cozy games, I don't often venture into the survival genre. So this is one of those things where I did, and I loved it. I think that rewarding feeling that you get starting out struggling, and then you work hard and you grind and you get a good stockpile going and you learn the mechanics. I think that is all part of immersion when it comes to this game. I know a lot of people kind of sometimes don't like feeling like you're struggling and then it gets kind of easier, but I think that's the whole point, right? You move from the city back to your burrow and you have no idea how to kick it in the woods. Of course, it's going to be harder at first, but once you start to get the hang of it, you're just a little guy and you're getting to know the woods. Like, that's awesome. I think it really added to the immersion points for me to have that sort of survival feel, and it really allowed me to get into the characters and the story, which, by the way, were all very well written. They were super cute, the stories were good, and in my opinion, it gave just enough story to where the themes felt relatable. You could empathize with the critters, you could get just invested enough where it was good. And I will not spoil, no spoilers, it's fine, I will not spoil. However, there was one story that actually made me cry. I think it did such a good job of providing foreshadowing, it built dread, and then it followed through, and it just hurt to complete it. You want to get the answers for these critters because you have empathy for them, and then you get the answer and it's like, fuck, I cried. I literally cried. it's short, but it's rewarding. You get attached. It did what it was supposed to do. I think it did a very good job. That being said, it is short. It's a short game. If you grind it like I did, I literally binged it in a couple of sessions. Like I loved this game. I really enjoyed it. But I played it for 8 hours. 9.5-ish if you count me trying to get 100% completion on the Steam achievements. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was a great 8 hours. I really enjoyed it. But I'm fine with paying $19.99 for an 8-hour game because I really enjoyed it. You might not feel comfortable with an 8-hour playthrough time, but again, I grinded the heck out of it. I think if you take your time and break it up into sessions, you might not have that experience. But anyways, all around, I loved it. I think it's an adorable art style. I think it's got a good story pacing. I think it's got good content. I think the mechanics feel good. I think it's rewarding. It's got immersion value. It's enjoyable. However, it's short. I will also say, if you are scared of spiders, they have a toggle for it, and you should definitely toggle them off if you are scared of them. They did a good job of making them scary. But anyways, let's now get into community complaints. What does the community think? I took a look at some reviews and I compiled the most common complaints. Let's get into what they are. The most common complaints was the gameplay and design, which is that players found the game too short with low replay value. They had navigation frustrations because there is no map and there are no quest markers, and people found the core gameplay loop to be repetitive with similar objectives and limited evolution. Here's what I think. I think at the end of the day, most complaints are kind of valid, but I also think that is exactly why you have to pinpoint the best way to play this game, or rather who it is for, because if you want a mini map and you want an ultimately cozy game, this may miss the mark a little bit for you. I loved that there was no map. I think it added to the survival element, and you can follow your footsteps, right? If you are walking through the snow, you leave little footprints behind, and it really adds to the survival element. You're exploring. Of course there's no map. I will say, as someone with good pattern recognition, you kind of learn the lay of the land pretty quickly, and if all else fails, follow your footsteps. It takes a good while for them to go away, and they're a surefire way to get back to the burrow. I kind of felt like it added immersion value. If you're looking for a game that's gonna be more cozy, that would definitely be an aspect that would kind of turn you off. I do agree with that it has low replay value. I haven't touched it since I played it back in December, but it left a mark. I loved it. I loved it enough to want to talk about it. So yeah. The next area is quality of life issues. Some people said that inventory management and storage options are limited, making resource handling tedious, and that the crafting and decorating system have clunky elements or feel unsatisfying for players expecting deeper interaction. I agree with the last one a little bit. I do think the decorating is kind of clunky. It's like grid style, so you can only decorate in a grid style, which makes certain placements kind of like, I wish this chair could be like slightly to the left, but you just kind of have to live with it. But I felt like decorating was like a nice extra touch rather than the core gameplay mechanic. So if you play this game wanting to decorate your burrow and get it exactly how you want it, it's not a one-to-one, but I enjoyed what they gave us. I enjoyed decorating my burrow and making it feel like home. And in terms of inventory management, I like that you have to upgrade your bag. Again, you are a little rat coming from the city. You don't have a big back, you don't have a big rucksack, and you're just a little guy. You can only carry so much. I think it adds to the survival element. Again, if you're looking for a cozy game that's just exploration and there's no survival element, you might miss the mark here. Once again, it's just setting expectations. And, if you're looking for a certain thing, this is a cozy game with a survival twist. It is survival at its heart. It is survival at its core, and it's fun. It's good. But I think some of these complaints coming from expecting just a little cozy exploration game, you're trying to survive. You're trying to survive the winter, So I get it, but I liked these things. I find it interesting that these complaints are exactly what I liked about the game. They're core elements that I thought added to immersion, to each their own. Which brings us to our last community complaint, which was that exactly the opposite of what we've been talking about. Some players coming from traditional survival games felt that this was too easy or simplistic, which again, totally. It is the perfect hybrid between a cozy game and a survival game. And if you're coming looking for the forest, but you're a mouse, or, 7 Days to Die, but you're a mouse, like those are terrible examples, but you get what I mean. If you're looking for like a normal survival game, this is definitely a little different. It's cozy. It's a good intro into survival if you're a cozy gamer, and it's a good bit of a break if you are a hardcore survival enjoyer. And I think that is a really good way to segue into who is this game for and what is the best way to play it. So here is what I think, and we're gonna get a little poetic. I say that, but not really. I think that Winter Burrow is best played in the dead of winter, preferably with a warm drink nearby, when you're in the mood for survival mechanics that feel gentle rather than punishing. It's a great entry point for casual survival fans with rewarding progression, light grinding, and a story that unfolds at a comforting pace. The fantasy of being a tiny little mouse, returning to the wilderness and family roots really lands when you let the game breathe. Play slowly and treat it as an escape rather than a challenge. And if spatters ruin your VAB, that accessibility toggle is there for you and you should use it. So, and mind you, that is exactly how I played it. It was cold. I used to live in New York City. I got snowed in and I binged it over the course of a couple days. It was freezing. I made hot chocolate and I was curled up in a bed with my kitty cats and I loved it. So if you're a hardcore survival gamer, this is best for you if you just want to take a load off and play something a little different with a little bit lower stake. Or if you're a cozy gamer and you want a twist, you want similar thematics, a cute vibe, but mechanics that are a little different. All in all, at the end of the day, I don't like rating games because some games are not for everybody, but all games are for somebody, and this game was definitely for me, but I want to hear about if it was for you. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Are you going to pick it up? Have you played it? Talk to me in the comments. I will talk. I love to talk, obviously. Anyways, I'll see you later. Bye!